Hey guys, and welcome to another brand new video. Hope you guys all had a fantastic, lovely Labor Day. We're back in the business over here because right now we are seeing huge gaming executives calling out PlayStation, causing drama, saying that they made horrible mistakes, and the fact that the PlayStation 5 is too expensive for what people are getting, the cost of entry is too high, and as well, we've been seeing this sentiment floating around throughout the entire gaming sphere. On Twitter, on Reddit, even on YouTube comments, and even when I've made YouTube videos, even discussing on my Twitch stream, whatever it might be, all of this stuff put together shows that the console is too highly priced. Now, obviously, it's okay, I guess. It's already happened. It's gone. They made the executive decision. Xbox has gone up. The Switch 2 has gone up. GPUs and all these things, tariffs, whatever it might be. We just have to accept it. But we can still complain about it, and that's what this video is about. So subscribe if you guys are new, leave a like down below, and your thoughts, and let's go talk about the fact that right now, I'm still upset that there was a price increase. So, we covered this about a few weeks ago. PlayStation 5 price changed up. There was a lot of drama, controversy, and it wasn't anything crazy, but it was an extra 50 bucks everywhere. On the PS5, the Digital, the Pro, all this stuff, you know, it is what it is. It went up in price, and it happened in other countries prior. You know, Xbox has gone up, as we mentioned, and this could have been worse. Xbox went up like 100 bucks. This has went up 50. They've had a lot of sales. There will most likely be future sales, but it still sinks. But that, you know, consumers are upset about it. You know, we don't want to spend more money. Tariff situations are driving stuff up. Like uncertainty in the markets, things like uranium, platinum, silver, like all these metals are going up too. There's war stuff. Like the world's in a really rocky spot, and people just want to spend less money. But also the people who want people to spend less money or people who want you to spend more money and gain off of that. And that comes from the Capcom president. And because the PlayStation 5 price increase has now been criticized by the Capcom president amidst all of these increases. So it just stinks. So don't forget about this. If say you're a game like Call of Duty, say you're a game like, say, Monster Hunter, for this example, you want more people on the console because that means you have a bigger player base. And as you guys probably know from Monster Hunter, a very large majority of the users that have played this game are on console. Now, Steam and like PC had a lot of sales too. Like that's valid. It happened for sure. And it will keep on going up over time. But the console market for at least this game, I believe, was the driving force, especially on the PS5. There's also a lot of people who bought PS5 Pros to play the game in better quality, and although the sales have tapered off quite a lot because Monster Hunter's had a lot of drama, the game itself has had horrible reviews. They're not fixing issues, like the player base fell off really quickly, and although they're adding new characters and stuff, it's cool, like I like it. It still is a struggle of a game. Like you need to have the game working, and that's why people like consoles. It's because on PC, the game's pretty much broken. Like it works, you can still play, but the reviews are very negative. It's not well optimized. People with older PCs are having problems. And that's why people go to consoles. But if the console price goes up, less people are likely to want to keep pushing into consoles and would therefore rather go into PCs or just avoid gaming as a whole. Many of my friends who have gotten older have been like, because I just had my birthday. I have friends now that have kids. They have work normal jobs. They'll start running their PS4s and they just are okay with it. You know, it's fine. They don't mind. They have like a family. Like they go home and spend time with their wife and raise their kids like they're supposed to, and that's okay. But sometimes if it's too expensive, that once again also cuts those maybe buyers that have the income out. And it seems like the recent PS5 increase being made around the world isn't just hurting consumers. Capcom president Haruhiro Toshimoto names the hardware's steep cost as a reason for potentially inadequate sales. Basically saying, hey, it was too expensive for people to get their PS5s. We are losing sales now. So Capcom president believes the cost of entry to play Monster Hunter Wilds on the PS5 especially is too steep. Well, even higher on Xbox, as the Xbox I believe right now is $600 for the Series X. So in an interview with Nikkei Gaming, Tsushimoto discussed Capcom's goal of selling 10 million units of Monster Hunter Wilds within the first month of release, which the company actually achieved. Like that's phenomenal. At $70 each, the game itself, that means this company made over $70 million minus all the fees and, you know, platforming costs, whatever, so a little bit less taxes, whatever. But it's a really, like, there's not many games that have ever even sold 10 million, let alone within the first month of the game coming out. Insanity. Like they did great. But then everything's gone downhill. Now, I also, as I mentioned, I think there'll be a little bit of ties into for the game performing not as well, issues, you know, just with the general vibe of it. The game was lackluster, characters people didn't like, bugs, like just, there's a lot, you know, like quality of life stuff, substance. I thought the game itself kind of lost a lot of soul as well from prior games, but it still was okay. Like I didn't hate it, but I have my my critiques. I think most people do. So then he then stated that some of the barriers the company has to overcome to reach those numbers, with the most prominent barrier being the pricing, saying that the PS5 is too expensive. Tsushimoto comments that Capcom considered the PS5 the main platform for Monster Hunter Wilds. As I mentioned, in Japan, the console costs around 80,000 yen. Factoring the cost of the game and monthly PS Plus subscription, players are spending around 100,000 yen when they purchase the console. So think you buy the console, for American terms, $550. Then you have to go buy Monster Hunter, $70, $620. Then because it is a multiplayer game, you need to have PS Plus. So you're spending, $10 a month for easy numbers. So just to play it for 1 month with your friends, you have to spend like $630, not even factoring taxes. So you're in like $700, $800. And that's if you want to have the reoccurring to play in the future for future updates. If you want to go and buy the DLC that they 100% will be making, all this stuff. And it's just a lot of money. And let alone on the Pro would be like $1,000. And some people would just go on PC. And also, as I said, some people may just completely give up. Like they just don't even want to buy the console anymore. And I think that's a potential big issue. Now, gaming's big, consoles are big. They're going to be selling millions upon millions no matter what. But you got to go and factor out like the price fatigue. And I think that's the bigger issue here. The price, the price disparity between this and older titles like Monster Hunter World and Monster Hunter Rise is extremely significant because this is new. They're selling for $70. World's been on sale for like $10 sometimes, So there were some points the company had to make when determining sales goals for the game. Obviously, if you sell it for $40 each, you'll get more sales than if you sell it for $70, but you may make less money. That's correct. However, we also found that this PS5 barrier, as we've been discussing, is unexpectedly large. The console costs around 80,000 yen in Japanese yen. So as you mentioned, like I said, I just talked about this stuff, it comes to 100,000 yen at the time of purchase. This is not an amount that can easily be reached, especially for younger generations. Now, this might be more specifically for Japan. But as well, America, I'm sure most of you guys would be knowing this, whether it's like your friends, family, social media, Reddit, whatever it might be. You might be someone in college and you may not have as much just like disposable income. And you may prioritize things like gaming, like Monster Hunter or whatever, but maybe this game never suited you. Maybe you don't have the PS Plus anymore, so you can't play with your friends. Maybe you just can't afford a PS5 and you're still on your PS4. Maybe you even had to sell it to pay bills. Like everyone has different circumstances all around. And it's a hard thing to go and do. Because there is a time in my own personal experience with my own actual friends, like I said, they may have kids and they want to go and get a nicer car. So they can't go and drop $700. Some can, but some can't. Some just kind of how it works out. And that's just how the world works. But sadly, this is now seeming a little bit concerning because they're just not, some people are now saying they're not going to even buy it. Or especially, they're not going to buy the PlayStation 6. Because they're like, well, I'll let my PS5 run forever because we know the PS4 also is somehow still being supported. So I'll just keep my PS5 for the next 15 years because it'll probably still work. Because the PS4 is getting close to that point already, as is. And that also means there's probably going to be less future game sales if they're okay with just having a PS4. Because, who cares if they can't play Ratchet and Clank when you can still play Fortnite or, Rocket League or, Apex or whatever big major game out there. I think even Marvel Rivals might still be coming to the PS4. Crazy enough. So all of this happening, you don't need this. So that means that there's going to maybe be less people buying your bigger games, less people having money to spend, and it will also slow down sales unless you have these hyper fans that are there for the first few months. Maybe a good example is Final Fantasy 16 or other Final Fantasy games, Square Enix games, where they expected way better sales on Xbox, way better sales on PlayStation. And because of it, they tapered off. So you might have a great 1 or 2, 3 months, but with Game Pass, kind of minimizing gaming, PS Plus, really good free-to-play options, or even PC games out there too as well, you may just not make as much money over time. And people have kind of been calling us on out, and they're discussing this, where it just is too much, where they may not even want to go and buy a PlayStation console anymore. And this is one of the rare people I would trust, because this is the Capcom big head honcho, the president, who just sold a game with over 10 million units in the first month. And if he's noticing that these issues are slowing things down, worried about the future of gaming, this might even turn to a crisis mode over time. Now, it's obviously right now, these companies made a lot of money. And obviously too as well, we're probably still fine. But as prices go up, this is something to consider, and I think it's a very interesting topic point, and that's why I made the video on it. So if you guys enjoyed all my words and my yaps and all the times I usually do, I very much appreciate you guys even listening and watching in the first place. So make sure you guys are please subscribed. Make sure you guys also put on the notifications if you guys would like. Leave a like, and of course your thoughts. Would love to go read them on too, as well as I'm scrolling and having some nice little snacks later on tonight. Appreciate you all so much for watching. I'll talk to you guys all soon, and we'll have some more stuff on the second channel as well later on today.